What's going on, everybody? Gonna do something a little different today on the channel other than just playing music and gearing demos. We are going to go through my guitar collection and bases of what I either own or I borrow or I use here in my studio. We're gonna go with basses first, the ever neglected instrument in metal. So this is my wife's bass. It is a Fender Jazz Mexican bass. Stock pickups, nothing fancy. It sounds really good for punk. It has a nice bright tone to it. A lot of mid-range. I think the strings, they are Ernie Ball. I think they're just your standard, I think 45 to 90. I think that's tuned to E flat, I think, at the moment, but it's a nice little beat up banger bass here. And then I use for the Cannon Brigade is this one, another Fender Jazz bass, also Chrissy's. This one has DiMarzio Ultra Jazz pickups and it's tuned to B flat. These strings are a little thicker. I think this is 60 to 120. So it's a 5-string pack, but with the 5th string taken out, just so I can have the I want to say lower tension, but just I don't have to have super loose strings to get this tuning. So there are the basses that I use. Pretty simple. Let's see. Let's go with this guitar. It is a white Ibanez. I believe you have the S series, the S730, discontinued S730. Funny story behind this guitar. It was a wedding gift from my mom and stepdad. I used it for a couple Vertigo Venus tours, and on our last record, what was our last record called? Was it Broken Record? Yeah, I'm asking Chris, she's behind the camera. Called Broken Record. I used this on that one. I sold it to a fan who ended up selling it back to me about a year later. He never played it. It sat in the case for an entire year. I got it back and it was in pretty rough shape. I mean, it was in rough shape to begin with anyway. It was kind of my beater 7-string, so I've had to get replacement parts and new electronics. I got a different locking thing. Even though it has locking trim, I can't actually use the bridge how I want to get the action how I want. So it's pretty much just sunk in there. I'm wondering one day if I could just get this thing filled with like a hip shot bridge. But the pickups in here, this is a Seymour Duncan Pegasus and a DiMarzio Air Norton 7. What I like about this 7 has a 5-voice switch, so if I want a single coil tone, I can go to the position 2 and get that really chainy, bright sound out of this. So I think the specs are a mahogany body, rosewood fretboard, 22 frets. I prefer 24, but what are you going to do? And 7-string, and this is tuned to standard with a drop A. The string gauges are Ernie Ball 9 to 52, so very thin strings on this guitar. Let's see, 6 strings. One of my favorite 6 strings I've ever owned. This is a Schecter KM6. And this is just a metal of a 6-string guitar. Has Seymour Duncan Black Winters in them. And for those of you who are familiar with the Black Winter, I asked Seymour Duncan the difference. These, you can adjust the coils on both of the coils, if you want to call it that, to where I'm pointing to that because that guitar has a regular Black Winter I'll get to next, but you can only adjust one section, to where this you can adjust both, which makes it brighter. And this is true. This is a very bright sounding guitar, very aggressive. It's not polite sounding. So I use this in Blue Jay and the Pigeons, even though it's a punk band. It's tuned to standard with I think just 9 gauge, 9 to 42. What was it? Flame maple top, swamp ash body, ebony fretboard, stainless steel frets, glow-in-the-dark inlays, Schecter locking tuners, and one volume, which is a push-pull, which is nice, and 3-way switch. So that's that guitar. The other guitar with the Black Winter is this Sterling John Petrucci affordable Music Man. I call this the Gaytar because it's very flashy. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up, but it does change colors from green to purple. Depends on the lighting sometimes. Sometimes you'll see all purple, sometimes all green. This has a Black Winter, which can only adjust the poles down here, and a DiMarzio, I think just an Air Norton. I like this guitar because of the switch here. It's got this bevel I can rest my hand. I use this also in Blue Jay and the Pigeons. The tuning is E standard with just 9-gauge strings. I think this is basswood, rosewood, and maple. So that's that guitar. Going back in time to 1994, this is my first ever electric guitar. Did not come this way, I'll get to that in a minute. It is a Fender Squire. I believe it's South Korean made. Wow, it's sold, I can't even say. Yeah, made in Korea, South Korea. Obviously the original pickups were shit, single coil, so I ripped them out. I put in some DiMarzio hot rails, or well, that's Seymour Duncan calls them hot rails. These are, I guess, not mini humbuckers, I don't know, but they're humbucker-like. So this is a Tone Zone, Pro Track, and Air Norton. This is wired different to where this is the master tone, and this volume affects this pickup, this one. So this one is always going no matter what you're doing. If you're in this switch, no matter what, you can't turn it down. So the volume only applies to the bridge and the neck. So it's a little Frankenstein job over at Ian over at ABQ Guitars did for me. Strings again, 9 to 42. I don't use this that much because frankly the tunability isn't that good. I mean it's a cheap Squire. It just doesn't keep tune, but it sounds great when it does work. So when it's staying in tune, I try to track with it because it just sounds spiffy. So going back even further, yes, I know I'm out of frame, is my mother's and uncle's acoustic guitar from 1974. This was the first guitar I started to learn on back in 1994. It sat in the case from 1974 till my mother gave it to me. So when I started playing on it, it had the original strings that sat in the case. It hurt like hell, but I was so wanting to play guitar, didn't give a shit. I think my fingers bled at one point. It had terrible fret buzz. Thanks to Kirsty's dad, we restrung it and got it to sound good. It's out of tune now because it's been in the case forever. I don't play acoustic. Hi, Odin. My dog's over here. Yeah, it's held up after all these years. The neck has never warped. It still looks shiny and new, even though it's older than me. So yeah, this was the first guitar I ever learned how to play on. I think the first song I learned was White Zombie Thunderkiss 65 acoustic. So yeah. All right, moving forward into the present time. The main axe of the brigade is the Schecter JL7-100. You guys have seen this in several videos. Yeah, again, I can't say enough good things about this guitar. It stays in tune. It's awesome. It's 7-string. I mean, it's just one of my favorite guitars I ever owned. Got Jeff Loomis' signature back at NAMM and got put the plate on this guitar. That's where it went. Comes with 707s, but as you see in the video I did Jeff Loomis pickup challenge, I ended up going with the 57. So this is tuned to E flat with a B flat on the very bottom. I actually use Ernie Ball strings. I think the 12. I get the Mammoth pack, so the 12 to 62, and then I just buy a separate 10 gauge and just put it on because I don't like the 7-string packs companies put out. They're either too thick or they're not thick enough, and it's just kind of annoying. So I kind of Frankensteined a pack with using an existing 6-string pack. So ash body, maple fretboard, maple walnut neck, locking tuners. What more can I say? This guitar just screams. And I've noticed with this guitar versus other ones, 7 strings, this one sounds the best in B flat. When I put it in standard with a drop A, it just doesn't sustain properly and the notes die out. It's very strange. I shouldn't say strange. I'm a believer that tuning is also affected by the wood. So I don't know, maybe the wood is pitched to this pitch. I'm not sure. It just works. It's great. So this guitar pretty much stays in B flat just because it just sounds the best. And my newest guitar, which I use also in the Brigade, American Key Experience, Futilitarian, and sometimes Blue Jays and the Pigeons, is this, the 2014 Schecter JL100 7-string. This already came with the 57, has a 66. This is a Swamp Ash body, still the maple neck, and 5-piece maple walnuts. Same strings as The other one, just this is a 9 gauge instead of a 10, because this is tuned to standard with an A. So yeah. Next week we'll do amps, pedals, and effect racks and whatnot, and what I'm using for sound. Oh, be careful, it's gonna knock my guitar down. Anyway, guys, so that's it. Thanks for watching. If you dig it, hit a like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell.